I am Rakhi Pal, the co-founder at EventBeep, and EventBeep is a student community platform. Now, why is there a need to build a student community platform? Well, I'll tell you exactly what's the problem we're trying to solve. So today, if you see, whatever is being taught in colleges in India, it's nearly 10 to 15 years outdated. And there is a huge gap between what IITs and IIM colleges carry and what tier 2 and tier 3 colleges in India carry. With the gap, I mean the community, the opportunities, like the placement opportunities. The tier 1 college students, they have a role model to look up to. Their alumni are billion-dollar founder startups, or rather are placed into some amazing companies with the position of a CEO or a product manager. Whereas for the tier 2, tier 3 audiences, it's just the academics and the job opportunities. They certainly do not have any role model to follow. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to bridge this gap. We're trying to get the equal amount of opportunity for every possible student in India, no matter which campus or college he belongs to. And we have not done it just by figuring out the problem at a smaller scale. We've literally gone on ground and surveyed more than 10,000 students and actually realized that this problem is there and every student has faced this problem. Again, how do we bridge this gap? So we're building up a community of college students, and that entire community has been gotten to our EventBeep app. How do we do this? We work in 3 verticals. Vertical 1, we get into a college and we bring that college onto the app and gamify their day-to-day college activities. Now, how do we do that? There are still in India this traditional formats being used of taking attendances on paper, completing assignments and submitting the files. What we do is we entirely gamify this whole structure. We make students get rewarded for the tasks that they do in their college. So I'll tell you how do we do that. We'll be presenting a short video through which you'll understand how exactly our digital campus platform works. So this was the vertical 1. Here's how we digitize the colleges. We're moving to vertical 2, that's building up a community. Now what we do is we bring the IIT Delhi student and their entire college on board, and we make sure their intra-college community is being formed onto the app itself. And not only that, with bringing an IIT Delhi entire ecosystem on board, we also get a tier 2 and tier 3 ecosystem on board. So basically a college like a DY Patil college or any other college that is being gotten on board, and we make sure there is an inter-college network and knowledge transfer happening. I'll just give you a quick demo. Now on the video, you will see a tier 2 college student who's actually been guided and mentored by an IIT Delhi alumni is talking on the audio room. Yeah.
सबसे मस्त एकदम अच्छी वाली बात है जिसमें लोग आपको जज ना करें. मैंने इतने सारे इवेंट्स में बोला और किसी ने कोई जज करने की कोशिश नहीं की. उस चीज ने मुझे इतना ज्यादा एनकरेज किया कि खुद का एक इवेंट मैंने ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइज कर दिया. सो ये चीज मुझे काफी अच्छी लगी. लोग अच्छे हैं बट हम उनको मिल नहीं पाते बिकॉज ऑफ इंस्टा.
So this is the demo of our community app as well.
लेकिन आपका हिम्मत के लिए that is good for you. You know, it's a very good thing that you could get over that, you know, fear. At least for some time you came through it, so it's good.
और मुझे पता है क्या है कि मुझे लगा ही नहीं था कि आप सब लोग मेरे इवेंट में आएंगे. थैंक यू सो मच. आप लोग जितने भी सब आए हैं उनके लिए मैं इतना
थैंक यू फॉर करेंगे. तो इंग्लिश की थोड़ी बहुत प्रैक्टिस में करती थी, लेकिन कैसा होता है ना, हम जब अपने से ज्यादा जिसको समझता है उससे बात करते तो जाके हमको अपनी वैल्यू समझ में आती है. तो अभी यहाँ पे मतलब मैं बहुत कुछ सीखा है. मतलब इंग्लिश कैसे बोलना है, थोड़ा बहुत मतलब मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि मैं खुद को बहुत डेवलप किया है यहाँ पे 1 महीने के अंदर ही। कोई मतलब किसी को कमी नहीं दिखा था कि हाँ, अरे इसको इंग्लिश नहीं आ रही है, इसको ये बोलते नहीं आ रहा है। कोई मतलब नॉन सिंगर्स भी गाना गा लेते तो सब लोग हँसते हैं, मतलब खुश रहते हैं।
All right. So we've seen the community as well here. Now vertical 3. In vertical 3, we leverage the community to brands. Now there have been several brands right from EdTech or right from other brands like Amazon, Spotify, Netflix, who want to run campaigns onto our platform and leverage, and that's how we leverage this community to brands. Moving to how do we make money? So there are currently 2 revenue models that we're following. First is we have EdTech integration. So we have a lot of brands right from Unschool, Upgrad, Burzio, who are listing their courses on our platform, and we nearly charge 50 to 70% margin behind every course sale to these platforms. And the second one, brand engagement. So as I said, there have been several brands, Geo, Boat, Unlu, that have conducted various campaigns with us on our app and off campus as well, where they nearly have a ticket size of around 30,000 to 15 lakhs, and we conduct the entire campaign for them based on the student or the audience size they want to reach out. These are our potential revenue streams. After Shark Tank, we've actually gotten a lot of, lot of credit card companies have reached out to us. A lot of other brands who actually want to explore this opportunity with us. So we do have a lot of potential revenue streams, and we're going to be giving it a try this year itself. Again, talking about the traction, the best part about Event Deep is so far, the 70% of the traffic we've onboarded is entirely through referrals. The audiences that we've gotten onto the platform are organically through the referrals that we've had on our platform. We haven't yet explored any other marketing avenues yet. We're yet to explore those. Again, talking about the student base that we currently have, we nearly have around 7 lakh plus students as our user base. And within the last 8 to 9 months, we've done a revenue of around 90 lakhs. Talking about the user growth, we've nearly hit the downloads from 5,000 when we started the community to 120,000 right now, and the monthly active users we've reached around is 30,000 plus. Again, talking about the team, the founding team. Again, I'm Rakhi Pal. I'm the CEO at Evendeep. And with this, I actually carry an experience of working with a lot of brands. I have already worked with brands before entering Evendeep, right from their campaigns. I have already co-founded a tech startup that was Mentorbox. And we have Saurabh Mangulkar here. Saurabh is the CEO, and he's been awarded by Chief Minister of Maharashtra for his various initiatives in EdTech. He's co-founded already 2 EdTech startups before. We also have Venkatesh Prasad here. Venkatesh is an ex-IBM, and he's also a co-founder at, he was an ex-co-founder at Event Buffer. Again, talking about the investors and our mentors, we've been funded by Succeed Ventures, and various VCs and angels participated in our first round. We also raised a Shark Tank round recently, and we have been backed by Ashneer Grover, Piyush Bansal, and Aman Gupta. So what's next for us? Like, there has been so many things happening in the community, but what are we aiming? After Shark Tank, we've nearly been reached out by 500 plus colleges, and not only from India, but from countries like Canada, Ireland, Singapore, and more. And we are planning to take our community in those colleges, and the process has already been started. With that, we're also planning to double down our revenue and hit the target of 10 lakh students by the end of this year. Again, the funds allocation part. We're raising funds, and the funds will be entirely allocated to build the product more better for the students. We want to add an immense amount of value to the students because we see this is the platform that students really need. And again, the other part is we want to dedicate the 30% to the user acquisition, the growth, because we again know we are acquiring colleges at a very faster pace. And with that, we want to again reach out to more and more students as well. The remaining amount we're planning to obviously dedicate to sales and operations in various cities. So that's all about Event Deep. Would be happy to take up your questions. Thank you.
Ganesh, should we go ahead and ask questions or just to understand? Okay, great. Thank you very much for your pitch. That was a great pitch. So we will now open it up for the for the panelists to ask their questions and their suggestions. Meanwhile, Amrita has also joined us, so she'll be also asking the question. So let's move ahead with the questions. So Magda, it's over to you. Please put your thoughts and ask your questions.
Sure, thank you very much. So thank you for the pitch, Raki. I have the first question is, if I understand correctly, your business model doesn't include selling directly to the universities. Universities and colleges are not your clients. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely right, Magda. Universities and colleges are our consumers, whereas our clients are more of brands.
Okay. And why this choice?
Because I would honestly say a conversion time for a college is very high. Like colleges, they're very much reluctant to pay. And in case we run behind, taking out money from colleges, it's going to be a big conversion cycle. That is the reason why the ticket size we've had from brands, the direct ticket size is nearly 15 lakhs per month for any campaign. Whereas for a college, the ticket size ranges from 1 to 2 lakh, and that is also for a single academic year.
Okay, thank you. The other question that I had was basically around the cybersecurity. So as you're building an mobile application, what is your consideration about data privacy and the security of users? Have you already integrated that in the roadmap?
Yes, while we anytime onboard any college or any student is being onboarded, we entirely ensure that we're all having all kinds of possibilities in terms of data security. We're using AWS and everything. So I think in terms of data and security, we've always been up with all sorts of care for it.
I have another question, but perhaps I leave it to later to make sure that the other ladies have time to ask you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Magda. Thank you. So next we'll pass it to Shikha. Shikha, please.
Thank you, Raki, and great to see what you've built so far. Just a quick question, you didn't kind of address the competitive landscape. Who would be another player similar to you in the market, or are you right now, let's say, the first mover in this space?
So again, we would say providing the digital campus platform and the community as well, and again, leveraging it to brands, we are the first movers in the market for now, because there are players who are doing it individually, probably building a community, or rather, trying to enter into colleges and provide their LMS platform. But we are the one who are like integrating it and actually providing it to the community.
Okay, so you don't have a similar kind of vertical player, like you're saying, with multiple verticals in the market. Is that correct? That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
okay,
correct.
Okay. And how much have you raised so far, Raki? And like where, just to understand your journey, how you've built this so far?
So far, I would say we've raised 1.3 CR. Our initial round was through, I would say, some VCs and angels, and Succeed was leading the round, and the remaining 30 lakhs we've raised in the Shark Tank round.
Okay. And this has been what, couple of years now? Just to understand.
Yeah, this has been, I would say, September last year, one round, and the second round.
Lost. Is it just me or we've lost Raki?
I guess.
No,
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Sure. No, anyway, I'm done. So Amrita, I think you should definitely go ahead.
Sure, we'll give a few seconds for Raki to be online, and then we'll move ahead. Raki, please join us if you are hearing us.
Maybe meanwhile Raki joins, I am Saurabh. I can answer any questions that you sort of have in.
Sure. Thank you, Saurabh, for joining in. So we'll pass it to our next speaker, panelist Amrita. So Amrita, before you start asking the question, we would also like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes. Yeah, deep apologies for the delay. This is a pleasant surprise because I thought I would be more as a panelist, but it would be it's a surprise to see some startups and me evaluating them. I represent the German Indian Startup Exchange Program. So this is an initiative by the federal government of Germany, and it's a bilateral program to initiate cross-border startup exchange between the countries of India and Germany. And I represent the Indian side of it for the network building, for strategy, and ecosystem enablement for the German ecosystem to set up in India and vice versa as well. So that's how I'm here in that capacity. So I maybe now the question. So again, coming from this background, what I would like to know, I think Magda already touched upon it, but I wanted to know what are you GDPR, do you also follow the GDPR regulations? Because the reason I'm asking is because we also work with a lot of startups, both scaling early stage startups as well, especially if they want to internationalize to the EU or Germany, and this is usually a constraint. So I just wanted to know what are your thoughts on the GDPR policies and if you have already integrated them to the company.
So I think Rakhi is out of network, so maybe I'll answer the question. So in terms of GDPR, not really, because we're right now focusing more on the Indian market and Indian college students. Talking about data security as such, so we already have all the compliances in terms of data policies, MASA frameworks required for app development on iOS and Play Store. So all the policies as such are there. And talking about college data, so we sign NDAs and policies across all the colleges and have different servers assigned to them whenever they're onboarded. So that's sort of taken care of when we talk about Indian college students.
Perfect, thank you. That was my only question. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much all the panelists for asking questions. Now we will take a couple of questions from the audience. So I have first question from Mr. Kuldeep, and Kuldeep is asking, how can a student showcase her qualification if she had done something on Eventbrite?
All right. So, Kuldeep, whenever a student onboards onto the Eventbrite app, he or she is required to upload his college name, the degree, and the course that he's pursuing. So that's how, whenever a student is interacting with any other college student, I would say, be making sure that every student in the community knows that what qualification the other student belongs to.
Okay, great. So we have another question, and it is saying, as you told that you have a 7 lakh registered student and having revenue of 90 lakh from last 9 months. Now from 7 lakh, how much of them are using services?
All right. So again, as I said, what we're currently doing is we're leveraging the whole brand's ecosystem to the audiences that we have onto our app. So we've just leveraged it to the 120,000 downloads, the users that we currently have onto our app. We've entirely not explored the the other database that we have, and we're not actually what we're going ahead is we're going ahead cohort by cohort, and we're not getting out the services to entire audiences for now, because we're only aiming the ones who actually are in need of the services that these platforms are providing.
Great. Magda, you have raised hand. Please ask your questions.
Thank you. I have another question, Rakhi. So if I understand correctly, again, you are using the third-party content, right, on your application?
I would say yes. There are certainly the content creators we do have in our community. Students come and they build their own content. Whereas when we talk about the revenue stream or how the courses that are being sold onto our platform as well, yeah, they are third party.
And do you have in the roadmap the I would say thinking about building your own content, or this is not something?
I wouldn't say that very soon we are planning this, because already there's a lot of content around in the market, and what we do is we curate the best ones and get it to our audience. So currently our focus is not building up our own content.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Magda.
Great. So now it's time that we should move ahead for the next pitch. Thank you very much, Rakhi, for being here and pitching, and thank you all the participants and all the attendees also, and all the panelists also to ask questions. We will run a short poll. Would request you to please give this answer of the poll before we move ahead to the next pitch.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all the panelists.
We'll hold for 20 seconds. Okay, great. Now we are ending it in next 5 seconds. Thank you very much. So this brings us to move to our next startup, and our next startup that is going to be there is Farm DIDI. So Farm DIDI is a technology led D2C company with a mission to provide healthy and traditional food products by empowering 1 million rural entrepreneurs. So we have Manjari Sharma from Farm DIDI who has joined us and who will be pitching. So I would request Manjari to please put your screen and start the pitch. All yours.
Okay. So thanks, Kanish. Thank you, Team Board, for providing us the opportunity and share our story. Farm DIDI is working on a vision to provide healthy and traditional food for the end consumers by empowering 1 million women. I am co-founder and chief DIDI of Farm DIDI. And to achieve this vision, we are building OYO of rural kitchens, basically sanitizing the rural kitchens for food manufacturing. Behind this initiative, wonderful team from IIM Calcutta with relevant experience in FMCG and technology space, who most importantly, we have been friends for like 7 to 10 years now, and we are dedicatedly working on this mission. The problem that we are solving for, and basically we interviewed and sold food products to more than 5,000 consumers in Pune, Mumbai and Bangalore, and what we learned was urban millennial mothers, they prefer natural, healthy food products, but what they really long for is the traditional food, the desi food. Remember our dadima, nanima, how used to make pickles in the jars and used to keep it in sun for some time, and then they used to give it to us, right? I and you as a consumer, we don't have time to make such products now, and we really long for such products in the market. So where do we get such food products? The answer is the rural India. Rural women, they have time, they have expertise and access to the ingredients as well, farm fresh ingredients to make such food products. Besides, there's a vast network of 75 million plus self-help group women, which are trained and supported by the government and the CSR funds. And then there's a lot of phenomenal support we have been seeing through such initiative for the rural women. So what Farm DIDI does is bridging the gap of urban millennial women longing for traditional food through the rural women from self-help group community, and by working with the CSR funds, we deliver that demand. What we do, for example, we started in Pune. We have a supply network of self-help group women across 250-kilometer radius, and we cater to the demand of Pune, both in online and offline format. How we work is basically we partner with farmer producer organizations and distributors. We provide the raw material to our farmer DDs, which we call as entrepreneur DDs as well. They make the food products in their decentralized kitchens, while Farm DIDI takes care of the entire quality assurance across the supply chain. We do the final packaging of the product and send it directly to the consumer, retail distribution and e-commerce players we have partnered with. And technology plays a key important role here, which helps us in overall managing the quality and providing a superior customer experience as such. And we have our own website as well, where you can order food products, farmdidi.com. You will be asking, how do you solve for the quality, right? Which is very important. So we have a very standardized operating model that we have formed, which covers the granular control of the raw material. The DDs, the entrepreneur DDs who work with us, we diligently select them and train them for like 6 months before they start working with us. Our training programs are designed, which covers all the areas of food safety, hygiene, recipe, ethics as well. We have a solid technology base that we are developing. I'll take you through that in detail in the next page. We have designs, SOPs, penalties and audits, which help us in ensuring the food that you get is of superior quality. We also deploy local quality DDs who works on a commission basis with us and ensures that when food is developed in the kitchens in rural India, it is following all those SOPs compliant with the FSSAI requirements. The technology that I'm talking about, it has two layers to it. The left-hand women. It's shown in English, but it is in the regional language, for example, Marathi in our case, which kind of is like a one-stop solution for a woman to become a compliant and certified food entrepreneurs. It also captures the inputs of traceability, and then all the quality, safety, all the SOPs are being managed through the mobile app. As a consumer, through a QR code, you would be able to see which DIDI made our product, which DIDI, which rural village, what was the kitchen setup, what was the hygiene, everything is covered in those. Even we will be covering lab reports and the granular details of the product supply chain as well for a consumer basis. Our story and our journey so far, we started in August last year, and we started with millet flours because we felt it is a very low value added product, and we will see how it will fare up in the market. But aha moment for us happened when we started selling pickles and papads, and consumer loved us actually. So the fact that we were providing natural and healthy value proposition, no chemicals and preservatives, at the same time we were giving that quality assurance of how the kitchen was looking like, what was the DD behind it, and the trace was guaranteed to them, which they miss in the today's market products. So that is how we started, and then now we are present on other e-commerce players like Amazon, Flipkart. Even we have recently partnered with Big Basket as well for our products. Our products, the best part is 70% of the people who taste it buy it. It's really, really good. Every food product that we make is, it works like an iterative fashion, like a technology is developed, right? So we take the customer feedback and keep it improving so that we get that great customer experience from the product side. In terms of competition, if you look at, there are a variety of products available in the market. There are mass-produced large brands which filled with a lot of preservatives, chemicals, and in fact at times there is very low quality or cheap quality of ingredients are also being used. There are a lot of new brands, niche brands that have emerged, but they are super expensive. There are, I think, biggest competition is the white label brands for us, but they do not give any sort of quality assurance or traceability. Even in India, where 70% of the food processing market is highly unorganized, and if you happen to see such products, how it is being made, you will never eat it. But Farm DIDI is providing the end-to-end traceability and the quality assurance of the food products. And in terms of pricing also, we are somewhere in middle, neither very cheap or not very expensive, and it is at affordable price that the consumers are getting. For example, if you left hand side, if you see, there are players like Nilons and Mother Recipes of the world, where they sell the lowest SKU at around 50 to 60 rupees. Farm DIDI sells at 99 rupees, while there are other niche premium brand, they are super expensive and go up to 200 rupees for the smallest SKU. Even in terms of value proposition, overall in terms of quality of ingredients, everything, we have the highest value proposition across the board, that too at an affordable price. The gross margins at which the large companies operate is basically 25 to 35%, but Farm DIDI, it is operating at more than 50%. And in fact, for some of the product, it is around 65% as well. For example, this is the unit economics example for one of our product on Amazon, where since we are a new brand, we have to pay a bit on marketing. So today, the overall contribution margins that we operate at 4%, but then there is a huge potential as we are optimizing more on our SEO and shifting using the other levers. We see there's a potential to go to even 24% as we grow up. We are highly focusing on ratings and reviews today so that we are organically coming on the first page without any marketing spend. We see we are more profitable in the offline stores. We have started putting our products on the retail stores in Pune, and we see today there's net contribution margin of around 20% itself. So we see this channel, we will be able to grow profitably as such. In terms of traction, first it has been just 1 year for us when we have done sales of 43 lakh plus. We have seen 27% repeat customers on our website, and ratings and reviews that we are highly tracking. We are already seeing there are 500 plus ratings and reviews that we have received. Overall rating is 4.7 star. And on the offline format, we have also partnered with Dorabji and Agraj Food, which is renowned offline players in the market in Pune. It is not about pickles and papad. I think handmade product is a big market for urban mass, around 150,000 crore. There are a variety of products that we could look at exploring like spices, snacks, even herbs and ghee, etc. So there's a huge market potential. And if you ask me, I think if you look at the kitchens of our house, no brand has dominated it. There's a huge potential to build those products which is catering to urban mass. And while doing so, what Farm DIDI is doing is Farm DIDI is driving economical impact for the rural women. And when a rural woman earns money, 90% of it goes back to the households itself in terms of better education, health, and nutrition of the family. And while you will be surprised, it's just 35% in case of men. We have already built a network of 1,080 rural women through this initiative. We have already seen women top entrepreneurs with us. Their income has increased up to 3 times. And we have impacted 40 plus villages in the journey. And right hand side, you can see a story of Vaishali Didi, one of our entrepreneurs. She earned 6 lakh rupees in last 6 months. So these women are becoming very popular and setting the example for the future generations to come. In terms of our go-to-market, in the next 6 months, I want to become 20 lakhs revenue organization with the presence in 250 plus retail outlets in Pune before I start expanding in Mumbai and Delhi in the offline format. Online, our prime focus is to build, to grow sustainably and profitably, and hence focus will be bringing on more organic customers acquisition. And on the supply side, we are also writing an MOU with the Maharashtra state government, which will give us access to almost 5 lakh plus rural women. At the same time, we have also received some of the funding commitments from the NGOs and CSR funds for scaling up those kitchens. Farm DIDI will be pioneering the operating system of food processing in rural India in future in some years to come. We also see export as a big opportunity for such products. And in terms of supply offerings that we are doing, we'll be monetizing it one by one. For example, things like the SHGs that we are working with, the women we are working with, the financing, microfinancing is a huge opportunity. Our technology platform will be a key enabler for facilitating such services. Things like the franchisee Kendra for supplying the raw materials, these things could also be monetized. We are also seeing a lot of interest from the governments and the other CSR funds who want to work with us, and they are ready to even pay for the capacity building program that we are doing. So this is the lay of land. Today, I'm planning to raise 4 crores for the next 18 months runway to become 1 crore a month revenue organization. I did a family and friends round before of around 35 lakhs. Post that, I've also raised close to 1 crore through a CCD round recently. And then the funds, the remaining fund that I'm looking to raise, it will help me in, setting up my operations, covering my food safety and hygiene practices at a very holistic manner. The traceability part that I showed that we will be building through the technology, and at the same time, some of it will also be used for the go-to-market for the acquisition of the customers, both from offline and online front. And in 18 months, I see we would have impacted 10,000 rural women through the same model. Thank you. I'm now open for the questions.
Great. Thank you very much. That was a very great pitch. So we will move ahead with the panelist to ask the question, starting with Sikha.
Thank you, Manjari. That was, great to see what you're building as well. A couple of questions. What is the shelf life of the product? Because you said you're not putting any, major preservatives, but what is the shelf life of the product?
So, for example, a mango pickle stays for like 1 year.
Okay.
I think pickle is an art actually in India. If you ask your Dadiba Nanimas, if you do the recipe right, the shelf life could be extended. In fact, we use neem leaves in our products, which is like natural stabilizer and acidity regulator as well. So
Okay. And the split between the channels again quickly, because I want to get to one particular point, but I just wanted to understand a little bit from your
today, 70% of the revenue is coming offline, 30% online.
Okay. Because I just want to understand, you mentioned the next 12 months, you want to grow it from 7 to 20. So are you planning to stick to this category and just take this to more geographies, or are you planning to introduce new product lines? Like, what's the roadmap for that?
So we have already proven ourselves in pickles, right? So I want to build and strengthen this category and take these products to the multiple other cities. And parallelly, we are also working on some of the pilots for some new varieties of papads, but then the focus primarily would be pickles only.
Okay, and then you're going to tie up with local SSGs for each of those geographies. That's how you
Yes,
plan.
that's right. That's right.
Okay, so you're going depth in one category. That's your approach. At
Yep,
this point.
yep.
Okay, okay, got it. I'll leave it to the other panelists. I have a few questions, but I want to give them sufficient time. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, over to you, Magda.
Thank you very much, Manjari, for the presentation. Really enjoyed it as well. So I have actually a question that's maybe a little bit different. What
Okay.
are the main challenges that you face nowadays to acquire customers?
So the main challenges, okay, on the online front, I think what we have seen that when we started selling, right? So our website experience for the customer should be phenomenal, right? It should be very smooth. We saw that people were coming to the website, but there were a lot of dropouts before they actually made the purchases, right? So we saw that almost only 3% of the people were making purchases out of X number of people who were adding to the cart. So we worked on our customer experience of overall website journey, and now right now it is 8% of the people who are buying it, right? So we are continuously delivering that customer experience. I think the creatives, the content that we show for the end consumer, that should be really, really good. And for us also to understand what customer is thinking about, right, when they are making a purchase decision, what goes into the mind, that understanding is really, really important. And for us, when we started up, we actually sold to almost 5,000 consumers outside the societies in a table chair setup. So we knew exactly that what is the customer thinking while they are making that final purchase, right? So taking that feedback into the account and now making the right content so that we are hitting that nail, right, when a customer is making purchase. So that was really, really important. Another thing is, of course, how you are differentiated from the competition is really important. And we are definitely, in terms of our value proposition, that we provide the assurance of traditional taste that we continuously speak about, right? So consistently speaking about your value proposition is really, really important. And then we also provide that traceability, which no one does. And we are like a mission-driven brand, which today's consumers are looking for when they are making purchases. So we wanted to ensure that the communication covered our value proposition very clearly so that we have good ROAS as well. So for example, we did a lot of pilots for our Facebook campaigns. We started recently. We saw that which campaign did well, which has a higher ROAS. So having that analytical and being analytical at the same time, awareness about the customer mentality is very, very important. So that was also important. And then the last thing is the presence, actually. So even if your product is right, everything is good, you need to be present where the customer is buying, right? So figuring out the right channels and understanding, okay, my TG is millennial mothers from age 30 to 40 years who stays in society. So where they are shopping, right? So hence it is important that we are present in both online and offline format. So that is something we are working on right now.
Thank you. So follow up from that a little bit more. So if I am a woman in rural India, how do I hear about you? How do I start even knowing that you are providing this kind of service?
So one thing is we are specifically targeting self-help group women. Self-help group women are a group of 10 women who come together, and they are typically monitored and managed by the government and the banks associated. So we are targeting only self-help group women because they are already getting some benefits and assurance from the government in terms of working capital support and things like that. So if you are a self-help group women, definitely you will get to know about us through the government initiative, or we also have a YouTube channel for the rural women in Marathi language, where you will hear about what is it to become a food entrepreneur. We also do some free Zoom sessions on a monthly basis where any women in the rural India can join those sessions. Also, we are seeing word of mouth really helps in the rural India context. They trust the work, not the name, actually. So we have been present in many villages for some time, and there is a proven evidence of the work. Hence, we are becoming very famous organically. Even government has approached us asking for writing an MOU after hearing some good words from the DIDIs that we are working with. So we are not doing marketing for the awareness for rural women per se, but we are targeting those CSR funds, and then the government who are working closely with SCGs to make them aware about us and to work with them in a structured manner.
Thank you very much. That's it from my side.
Great, thank you, Magda. Now we'll pass it to Amrita for for the asking questions.
Thanks, Manjari. That was a wonderful pitch. It's very evident that you know in and out of the product that you're building. I had two questions again coming from my initiative. So you briefly touched upon the export aspect. So what are your views on that at the moment? And exactly, so and if you are actually exporting, would you be still functioning in the same model that that you are proceeding now? And once you export, are your customers the Indian diaspora outside, or would you tweak your recipes? Will that be an added cost? I just wanted to understand what your perspectives are on the export element.
So before Farm Didi, I had worked in like almost 5 continents, and I've stayed in like Singapore, US, and other countries, and Sweden as well, by the way. So I've seen that there's a huge demand of such products. Like the NRIs will go crazy about these kind of products. They are traceable, natural, and it kind of the value proposition sits well. What we are doing in order to support that export functionalities, we have already started, discussions on ISO and HACCP certifications, which I think would be very necessary to speak to the export vendors. In terms of recipes, I think we are pretty flexible. In case we see there's a huge demand opportunity, and of course we can tweak the recipes as well, as long as my value proposition, my vision is aligned, right? So which is to provide high quality, good products to the end consumers, and it is empowering rural women. I'll be happy to look at. At the same time, we have also approached, we are looking at a hybrid model also. For example, there are CSR funds who have already set up kitchens, right? But they need recipes, etc. So in that scenario, we have already started speaking with them and providing the recipes and the entire practices around it, so that they can develop in a large scale manner. So there are tremendous models we can use in order to cater that demand, and of course align with our vision as well.
Thank you. One last question. So when you are marketing, or according to you, your ideal customer is the urban millennial woman, or the mother, urban millennial mother, right? That's what.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's it.
Thanks all panelists for asking question. Now we'll open it up for the questions of some of the attendees. So I have first question from Mr. Sagar, and he is asking, what are the number of products currently being supplied by you, and what are the top 4-5 products that you are the product for your currently?
So there are almost 15 plus SKUs that we have today. My top 2 products are mango pickle and lemon pickle.
Okay, great. So another question is coming from Mr. Rohan Shinde, and he's asking that why can't someone else copy for your model?
Okay, so one thing is, if you want to work in rural India, you need to build that trust, and that is very difficult to build. That requires a lot of cultural changes, vision alignment, and have a strong team with a strong ethics and strong focus and purpose driven in order to execute it. So that is something we are able to do it in last 1 year. The second thing is the technology piece that we are building. It's not easy to replicate the technology part, and the traceability stack that we are building, it's an amazing thing. It's very difficult to replicate. That also keep us aside. And the third thing is we are first one who are doing it, right? So we'll always have that first mover advantage.
Okay, great. So we have one hand raised, Mr. Dilip. He wants to ask question. Dilip, we have allowed you. Please quickly ask your question.
Yeah, thanks, Ganesh. Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Other than many of the things which I would like to know about the business model, currently, I would like to know how would you control the quality from so many different, you call DIDIs or housewives?
Yep. So quality piece. So these are the 7 main elements of our quality control. One is the important piece is controlling the raw material that goes into the food product. So it is sourced by us, sourced through us only, through our partner distributors and farmer producer organizations. We closely understand what kind of raw material is going on. For example, we know that, let's say, Tata salt has to go into that pickle, no other salt. We also take the technology we are building will have an interface for the distributor also, and the DIDI submit the purchase orders also from that distributor when it is done. So we exactly know what raw ingredients are going to the food products. And second piece is very important, who is making the product, right? How ethical that person is and how much does she understand the importance of food safety, hygiene, compliance, things like that, right? So the selection process is very, very stringent. We take care of, we understand, we take a lot of feedbacks and interviews from the society and from the our partner CSR funds to understand we are working with the right set of SSG or not, right? Then the training program, it's like very amazing. It's like we are doing mini MBA for food entrepreneurship. It covers food safety, hygiene, as well as the food ethics also, so that it is understood that why we are doing it, what is the criticality. The technology piece that I'm talking about, right? What we do is for every batch, for example, Didi is given the order of 1,000 kgs, right? So she has to make it in a 5 batch. For every batch, she provides the pictures of quality, kitchen hygiene, personal hygiene, and there are actually 7 pictures program that we have set, which she has to acknowledge and send it to us. Just like Urban Clap that it does, right? For the service providers that come to our homes providing the services. We also have stringent SOPs, penalties, and audit structure. So in case some of those SOPs are not being met, they are penalized also. We do regular and surprise audits also check. And last thing, which is really important, is what works well in rural India is the risk of reputation. That's what they fear for, right? So what we do is the local quality DD that we appoint is typically who is very influential in that region, and someone who is like head of the SHG group or maybe near to the panchayat team, so that she is being heard, right? So what that lady does is she goes to the homes or the kitchens where the food is being made and ensure that all the SOP parameters are being fulfilled. So these are some of the levels, and then we have our on-ground team also on top of it. So there are a variety of layers and checks that we do in order to ensure that food safety, hygiene, and compliance is being
Great.
Manjari, later we can have.
Go ahead, Mr. Dilip.
Yeah, Manjari, later we can have a one-to-one call.
Okay.
Because there are certain things and challenges what I hear, foresee, because to control the quality checks, although diligently selecting on practical level, I think it would be very, very difficult and challenging. So one thing is this. Second thing, many of the certifications are required even from the export and local front, like FSSAI and many other things. So you won't have any commercialized or centralized kitchen, right? Because you would be actually getting the products from the individual households. So that would.
Okay.
So we'll connect you. Sorry for the interrupting. We'll connect you offline.
And lastly, just quickly, if you can, quickly you can tell me what is the valuation actually you are looking for?
So I raised a CCD round recently with a valuation cap of 20 crores.
20 crores.
Yeah.
With a turnover, what you said today is
43 lakhs first year.
Oh, so okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Dilip. We'll connect you with the founder 101. Thank you very much. So due to the limited time, we'll have to skip now and we'll have to move forward with the next startup. Now, before we do that, we'll be opening the poll. So quickly put your thoughts in the poll so that we'll be able to schedule another round of call with the particular startup. So we'll keep it open for next 30 seconds. Okay, we'll keep it open for like last 5 seconds. Thank you. Now we'll move, before moving ahead to the next startup, we would like to also make everybody aware of that India's largest incubation center, this Deshpande startup, is extending their support to all our startup to apply for their NIDI Accelerator cohort program. It is live now, where they'll be providing a lot of benefits along with some sort of funding as well, and connecting to the ecosystem partner for funding them. So please feel free to apply, and also spread it to your friends, families who are building startups, and all these support are here for all the startups that are pitching here as well. Thank you very much. So this brings us to our next startup, which is UTSAV. UTSAV is India's spiritual community app with an aim to disrupt religious and spiritual experiences with tech. So Ankita De from UTSAV is here with us. I would request Ankita to please put up your screen, turn on the video, and start the pitch.
Sure, thank you so much. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. Please.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Ankita De. I am founder of UTSAV. UTSAV is a community platform for faith and divinity. What exactly the problem that we are solving? I'll take you through that. India has over more than 3 million places of worship. And if we take an estimate, it's even more than the number of schools and colleges in India. The experiences that these places provide are mostly offline, and it limits the accessibility and the distribution that is possible. The religious and spiritual market is large, but it's fragmented and unorganized. The current communication channels, they are broken, and an integrated platform is something that is missing, and that's where UTSAV comes in. We realized this problem in the middle of the pandemic when it was beginning of the Durga Puja, and the three founders, we are Bengali based out of Kolkata. We could really relate to the problem that there was a lot of, everybody wanted to celebrate, everybody wanted to take part in the festivities, but there was no online platform which could do that. So we built the platform in around 30 days and we released it on Play Store. The immense amount of love and support that we got, almost all notable pandals from in and around Kolkata joined the platform. And it was for the first time that around 10,000 people celebrated Durga Puja online for the first time ever. We also got listed in the trending section of Google Play Store, and all of this was at zero marketing spend. So that's when we realized that this is a problem big enough to solve, and we deep dived into the market. We did all the research, we talked to the people on ground. So the solution that we are building is UTSAV, which is a community-first social platform which combines tools with network. UTSAV focuses on a rich, user-generated, content-driven community experience, where it's a vertical platform for people who always wish to stay connected to their roots, to their divine and spiritual aspects. It's a single solution integrating services and network for all your spiritual needs and aspirations. We tend to digitize and solve the problem of the limited accessibility and the distribution. Two key aspects of the product. The first is organizations, influencers, they can create their individual communities. It's an open platform. Once they are creating the community, they can share content, they can keep their community engaged, they can have the entire list of their devotees who follow them. They can share regular notifications, updates on what is happening. Along with that, we bring in the engagement tools. So for example, online puja booking. So for example, there's an event that is being, for example, we did it for Rath Yatra. So it was in July. We did it at Puri Jagannath temple. The priest at the temple would be offering puja on your name and gotra. It's fine if you're not able to, because it's not possible for everybody to travel and go there, but would definitely love to have a puja being offered on your name and gotra at the temple. So that's what the service we provide, along with the prasad delivery at your home. So why is it the right time for UTSAV now? We have seen a rapid digitization in probably every sector, be it education, entertainment, work from home, right? But probably this aspect of India, which is known worldwide, right? The rich cultural roots and heritage of India is somewhere it doesn't have that digitization yet. We have seen this intent in tier 1 temples where they are trying to perform online darshan to their devotees, webcasting aartis and all, but an aggregator platform for all the communities, for all places, is not done yet. And that is what UTSAV tries to bring in. The user experience of the existing apps is quite poor. Users are looking for integrated features of booking the sevas. If they are traveling offline, they would like to book things over there, but they are not able to find that in the existing apps that are there. And those are mainly temple apps, and also specifically from tier 1 temples. Recent trends in investor behavior have also shown a strong interest in the spirituality domain, and given the size and diversity of this market, there's a definite scope for UTSAV to scale and disrupt. This is data from a resource where it says that Indian spiritual and religious market is worth $44 billion, and this is the data of 2020, and it is growing at 10% every year. What's our go-to-market strategy? We started with a regional focus since we are all from the eastern part of India. We have digitized temples in and around our area, like Puri Jagannath Temple, Baidyanath Dham in Jharkhand, Kolhapur Temple. We have done a pilot over there, trying out the western side of the country. And we also target influencers in this domain. So for example, authors of spiritual books or spiritual influencers in specific communities. We try to get in touch with them so that we get direct content from them, and also they are able to build their community in a niche platform like UTSAV. The third is trusts and organizations. So we leverage the existing network of the trusts and organizations and help them with a software, a quick plug and play software solution that can digitize their day-to-day operations, their puja bookings, their community management, maintaining the list of devotees who have booked or something. So all those things UTSAV can provide. Talking about competitors, so UTSAV is the only player which focuses on a user-generated content first community experience, along with utilities, which keeps the community engaged at all times. Sri Mandir is there. They are mainly into a digital mandir that you worship at your home. So it's mostly like a utility, did not have a UGC or a social aspect to it. My Mandir is UGC social, but they lack the authenticity that we provide. So for example, communities in UTSAV can be verified or non-verified. So like I said, anybody and everybody can come and create communities, but the ones that are maintained by the trust authorities or which are verified by us manually, they get the verification tick. So when you are a part of a verified community, you know that you are interacting with the management at the temple community, right? So that's what we bring in. Vama, it's mainly into astrology domain, but they are gradually coming into Mandir as well. Current traction, we are more than 50,000 downloads at this point of time with 1,100 communities onboarded. Our monthly active users range around 10,000. Currently, we have 8 temples onboarded, and we did a pilot of how the puja bookings work, whether users are paying, what's the return number of the users, and we did it in July. We got around 70 puja booked with a revenue of around 45,000. Traction projection for the next 12 months, we are looking for a 1 million downloads. Although this is quite conservative, I feel, because we are trying to test out the different aspects that we can bring in this domain, because this domain is huge. There's a lot we can do, but we would like to test it one by one, check out which one is working. One very important observation that I did was, a lot of groups or pages on Facebook, Instagram do exist. But the moment engagement is high, but when you bring in a purchase, online service that people can offer, then the conversion rate is low, right? So this is a big problem of this segment, and we tried. That's why we did the POC for the online puja bookings in the month of July, trying and testing out how the response we get, what's the feedback that we get from the users, what's the people who book for the second time as well. So all those things we have done. Revenue channels, talking about revenue channels, we have 3 mainly revenue channels. The first is services that we provide, where we have a gross margin of 40 to 50% depending on the temples. Subscription model, where we'll bring in live stream of religious events, regular a subscription to maybe you want to offer your puja at Kashi Vishwanath Mandir every month, so you can take a subscription and you don't need to book it every time. So those kind of models we are planning. The first one is executed. The second one we are in the process, and ads and sponsorship that comes in during the festive season. So we are not just into organizations, we also celebrate various festivals like Durga Puja in Kolkata, Ganesh Chaturthi in Mumbai. So where all the communities, the mandals, the pandals, they come into the platform, they share their, the concepts, the idol that is being built, how many people are coming in, all the updates you can get at the app. And over there, since there's a huge footfall, there's also a scope for sponsorship from brands. We have got sponsorships from various brands like Anmol Industries, Central Bank of India, and quite more. We maintain the authenticity. So everybody who books a puja receives the prasad in a package. And apart from that, he also gets a card where the card has a picture of the priest, the date when the puja was offered, along with his name. So this is like a memory that, your puja was being offered by this priest on this day. And this is the picture of the deity. We've got some amazing feedbacks from the users. These are listed here. Sure. Shall I move ahead? Sure, thank you. We raised a pre-seed round of funding from 100x last December. It was 25 lakhs for a 7% future equity. Apart from that, we also have 2 angels with us. They have invested 5 lakhs each. Our team, we are 3 founders. We started off during our life in college itself. We are student entrepreneurs. We graduated this year, 2022. We have done our graduation in electronics from Institute of Engineering and Management, Kolkata. The 3 of us have been working for the past 3 years together in different projects, different hackathons, like it happens in colleges. We have won quite a few of them. We have also been, before UTSAV, we have also had a tech company registered called Applix Technologies Private Limited, which actually provided software solutions to clients across India. So we did a bit of that as well. And then finally we decided, let's solve this problem and build something that is our. We are looking to raise 2 crores at a post-money valuation of 12 crores, and product development will be investing 40% because a lot needs to improve in the product experience, building in the live stream feature, which is quite costly. So all those things are in process, 30% in operations and 30% in sales and marketing. That's it from my side. Thank you so much. Would love to know your feedbacks and questions.
That was a great pitch, Ankita. So now we'll open it for the panelists to ask questions, starting with Magda.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kanishk. Perhaps the first question that I have is around the scalability. So are you willing to, in the future, target other markets and geographies, or you see yourself only being in India?
No, definitely we look forward to scale. Currently, we are focusing on Indian audience because we are at a very growth stage and early stage. But definitely, NRIs and people staying abroad who believe in their divine roots and would love to stay connected to them. I think that is a big market to capture as well.
Okay, and the second question is, so your revenue mostly comes from the consumers who pay for the subscription, or from the religious institution organizations?
Currently, it's from the consumers. We have not yet made the onboarding of the organizations paid yet, but we definitely we are in discussion about maybe that can bring in revenue as well. So that is something in process, but currently we are doing it only from the consumers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, over to you, Shikha.
Thank you, Ganesh. Ankita, thanks for sharing that. It's interesting. It caught my eye when we got the one page also yesterday, because I have a slightly fundamental question. When you started, and I understand you started when the pandemic was going on, but did you do any check with consumers to see what their pain point here was now? Because hopefully we're out of it now. Right. I mean, what are you really trying to solve from a consumer standpoint, not let's say the institutions you're looking at?
So the vision that we have is not saying that, we should not visit our places of worship offline. We are a digital counterpart to it. Maybe you visit, you visit the temple, you visit your place of worship twice a year, but it's not possible to have a darshan every day, or it's not possible that you stay connected or you're updated about every information coming in from the institution. So I think that's a digital counterpart that we provide. And along with that, we give in the services that you might like to, so we are like a counterpart and not a replacement of the offline visits.
Okay, so you say it's a supplement, because core, right, the way I understand with people, at least what my limited understand, that's why I asked you, did a consumer survey, did you go to the consumer and ask, is that, an experience when you go to a temple, it's a lot about going there, any institution. Absolutely. I'm not even saying it's Absolutely. A temple, right? It's actually about going there, going through the hardships of reaching there, visiting, it's a very sensorial experience. So my only question was coming with it, this is solving for maybe convenience to some extent, but it's not solving for that part of it, and which Absolutely. It can't, because technology can't bridge that. It cannot. And perhaps it's a good thing it can't, but I was just wondering that from a consumer standpoint, that way, what all areas, because this seems to me like a booking sort of thing, but can you extend it, or is there more that, you can offer? Because at this point, that's where for me, a slight wedge comes in my thinking, right? That what is the overall vision? It's, is it really about spirituality, or is it simply a booking, convenience that you're providing? That's my fundamental.
Absolutely. So these bookings that you see, yeah, I'll just highlight once here. So these bookings, the feedbacks that you see, they are done in the month of July. That is out of the pandemic, right? Okay. So there's a family, they stay in Gurgaon, right? They want to offer a puja at Baba Vaidyanath Dham in Jharkhand, and it's not possible for them to travel, right? But this auspicious period of the Sawan Mahina, right? This July-August period, they want to have a puja offered in their name. They want to have a live darshan where the Panditji, chants the shloks and all the things online. So that's a thing that, if you cannot go there, at least you have an alternative, right? That can solve at least some part of your problem. You cannot, I completely agree with you that offline visits can never be, replaced by online thing, right? It cannot. And it's same for every domain. It's same for, online meetings. It's same for online education, right? So I think the only reason that online education, online entertainment, online office works is the same aspect to your spiritual life and beliefs.
Because Ankita, that's where I'm coming from. Somebody may come to you to book once, but
Right.
you know, are they going to, because repeatedly, what is the compelling reason for them to get back? So that's only, and there are various ways you can do it. I'm just trying to stoke your thinking into thinking
Sure.
about how you can make the proposition larger, so that, you know, because to address that large market which you claim there is, you will need to maybe develop a few other domains as well. That's why I was pushing you to understand what is the compelling reason as a customer emotionally that I'm going to come back to you each time, right? That's where. But thank you for sharing your views.
Sure.
If you have anything more, I can hand it back to you. Yes, go ahead, Ankita.
Last one thing I like to highlight. So, although this is a very small number to start with, so the users who booked their puja during Rath Yatra, that was 1st to 7th of July, and we had Savan Mahina started after that. We almost had 20-25% people who repeated their bookings. So that is also, this is a very small metric to track, because we had just 60 bookings till date. But even in that minimum number, we could see a repeat booking of 20-25% from the users.
And how are you reaching more users? How are you going about that, acquiring more customers? Like, what's your, I'm assuming it's digital, but what touch points are you using?
Right. So talking about how our go-to-market strategy is, first is, of course, through online promotions on Facebook, Google Ads, all those. We also operate on a lot of WhatsApp groups, right? So a lot of devotional WhatsApp groups operate. So we have a bunch of groups over there where we channelize, and share our content regularly. We also see users sharing it back to us. So I think that's the thing that we see, that shareability of the content is very huge in this segment, right? Every morning you see a picture of, Bhagwanji, where they say, good morning, may your day go well, and all those things. So that's one. Apart from that, during the festive season, like I said, we also work with offline marketing, right? So that's not a direct call to action, but of course that creates a brand awareness. So during those times, so for example, during Durga Puja, we have around 500 pandals which are in and around Kolkata, and we have 24 square feet banners at every location. And for that, we don't have to pay because they are our partners, right? But if you had to pay and have a banner, physical banner of 24 square feet at a marketing advertisement banner, it would cost you a lot. So I think all those things, it cut down on the cost, but at the same time it gives us the brand awareness.
You will need to reach a larger audience, and all the very best to you. I mean, thank you for sort of answering my questions, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
Great. Now we'll take some questions from the Q&A session from for the attendees. So the first question is from Rohan Shinde, and he is asking, so this is a community game. What are the metrics for last month? Daily active users, retention rates like D1, D7, and D3, D30.
Right. So I've noted it down. So for our daily active users, it ranges around 1,000 to 1,500 with a monthly active users of around 10,000. D7 retention at this point are around 25%, D14 at around 12, and D21 at around 8%.
Great. Another question is that isn't this a risky business if religious sentiments are hurt and government bans the app like PUBG and the company will shut down?
So every business is risky, right? So talking about this, it is just about how we moderate the communities, how we, channelize the content that is being sent. So we have got 3 levels of moderation that happens in the communities. First is there are community admins who take care that the content that is being posted is up to the mark and it's relevant to the community, right? For a community like, for example, Puri Jagannath temple, you cannot have a Virat Kohli post over there, right? So all those things are taken care of. The second level of thing that we have is, of course, our recommendation system and our backend system that removes the words and the keywords that are maybe vulgar or not appropriate for a community like this. So all those things are removed; they are not allowed to post it. And the third is we also do a manual checking at our end. We have our team who takes care of the verification process, who's the ones who are managing the communities, all those things. So I think it's all about how we manage things, how we make sure that there's nothing wrong that is happening. And I think every business is risky, so there's no challenge in that.
Yeah, that's great. So I don't have any question in the Q&A session as of now. So would be publishing the poll currently. I would request all of you to please put up your feedback there in the poll. Yeah, it will be live for next 30 seconds.
Kanishk, it's late written. Would you like to invest in Farm DIDI instead of UTSAV?
Just hold for a second. Actually, it is for the UTSAV. There is a typo that we have followed. We'll be taking care of that.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, we'll be ending it in next. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Ankita, for your pitch. So now, before moving forward to the closing session, we would like to introduce our ecosystem partner, Voila Expert. So Mr. Karan is here with us from Voila Expert, and they are here to support our all the startup with their services. So Karan, please, the stage is yours for next couple of minutes.
Hi, Kanesh. So thank you very much for giving me this platform. But anyways, guys, I think all the startups had great pitches, and personally, I liked all of them. I think they're solving really good problems. So it has been a really good pitch from the founders, and as well as a great, efforts from the pod team as well. So let me just tell you a little bit about Voila Experts. So Voila Experts is India's first aggregator platform, connecting vetted industry experts with businesses, offering advice, consultancy, and project execution. So the basic scenario here is that Voila Experts is helping you enhance your business journey. We are going to help you connect with experts who can take up any problems that you might have running your business, be it GTM strategy, be it maybe content marketing, be it maybe fundraising or any other problems. And now here's the bomb that I'm going to drop. For those who need a little extra help in connecting with experts or don't have the bandwidth to dedicate their time, please delegate your work to us. All the VPOP participants can avail managed service from Voila Experts for free, and we will definitely help you out and assign your SPOC who will take you through the complete journey and solve any problems that you might have in your business.
Thank you very much, Karan. Thank you for being here and supporting us throughout this entire event and extending your support to all our startup. Thank you, Voila team. So just because of the typos that we had, we are relaunching the poll for UTSAV. So I would request you all to please again submit your feedback. Okay, we'll be closing it in next 5 seconds. Done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Karan, for your extended support. Great to have you here. So having said that, this brings us to end of this session. We know that a lot of questions were there from the attendees, from the investors whom we could not ask, and we are extremely sorry for that. But rest assured, we'll be organizing a deep dive Q&A call with each of the startup once the campaign is launched on the platform in following week. So keep checking the platform. I would also like to thank our panelists, Magda, Ankita, and Shikha, for taking out your precious time on a weekend and joining us to give your valuable feedback and asking quality questions to all the founders. I would also like to thank all the founders of the startup UTSAV, FarmDidi, and EventBee for pitching today and presenting the great startup idea out there to our audience and to our panelists. A special thanks to HSBC Bank for extending its support to the startup ecosystem and especially to this event VPOP 2.0. So this brings us to the end of this session. Kindly keep visiting our platform http://podworld.in, and we will also be bringing some further more such events where we'll be inviting all of you, and we organize such pop events every alternative Saturday. So keep joining us in the event for witnessing the quality startups. It's a wrap. This is Kanishk signing off. Have a happy weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Bye.